Alright, hey everybody, today we're doing the Espresso Martini. While it's not quite as old as other cocktails, it's still a classic. So celebrity bartender Dick Bradsell is said to have invented this classic in around 1983. According to legend, a mysterious model walks into his bar and asks for a drink that'll both wake her up and fuck her up. Given these orders, Dick Bradsell whips up the now known Espresso Martini, and that's how it was born. But there's a little more to the story. It's been speculated that this model that walked into the bar was either Kate Moss or Naomi Campbell, but actually it was more than likely neither one of those. In a 2011 interview with Dick Bradsell, he mentions that he really doesn't remember who it was, or if he wasn't saying it because he liked the mystery around it. Unfortunately, when he passes away in 2016, he takes any knowledge of that night with him. But what we do know is that the drink was first served at the Soho Brasserie on Old Compton Street. And originally, Dick Bradsell just made this drink for friends and colleagues. It wasn't on the menu at this place. There was also no coffee liqueur in the drink originally. It was just espresso and vodka tied together with a little simple syrup. The drink was originally served on the rocks. I'm sure when you think of an espresso martini, you think of the martini glass, but originally it was just called the vodka espresso, served on the rocks and garnished with the 3 espresso beans. The garnish of these 3 beans is said to represent health, wealth, and happiness, and it comes from the traditional serving of sambuca in Italy, where the drink is served with 3 beans called con la mosca, which means with the fly. So that was in around 1983, some say 1985, it just really depends. But regardless, mid-1980s is when it was originally constructed. It would take about a decade before the Espresso Martini really blows up in popularity. By many accounts, Dick Bradsell served a lot of vodka espressos in the mid-90s at the bar Atlantic Bar and Grill. But the drink itself was not on the menu here either. It really doesn't appear on the menu until Dick Bradsell works at a bar called Match in 1997. It was at this bar Match that the popularity for the Espresso Martini skyrockets. So what happened is at Match they had a list of 7 signature cocktails, and these cocktails were plastered on the wall of the bar in huge letters, getting everybody's attention. Once it was one of the signature cocktails at Match, people ordered it, word spread like wildfire, and it instantly became one of the most popular cocktails of the time. But it was at Match that the recipe starts transitioning a bit. It was still known to many as the vodka espresso, but instead of freshly pulled shot of espresso in the cocktail, that gets subbed for coffee liqueur here. Instead of the original iteration that served it on the rocks, at Match it was served up in a stemmed martini glass. But this wouldn't be the last iteration of the Espresso Martini. In 1998, Damien Hirst, a famous English artist, decided he wanted to open a bar, and he opens the bar called Pharmacy Bar in Notting Hill. Bradsell was hired to create the bar program at this new pharmacy bar, and he took his vodka espresso or espresso martini, people were calling it both at this time, and he changed the name and called it the pharmaceutical stimulant to keep theme with the bar. But the recipe also changed a little bit in this drink at this bar. At the pharmacy bar, he basically took the espresso martini and brought it back to the original roots and put it back on the rocks, not in the stemmed glass. But the damage had already been done. It would not be recognized as the pharmaceutical stimulant anywhere outside of that pharmacy bar. Basically, the name Espresso Martini would stick for 2 reasons. 1, it's just very simple and descriptive in nature. And 2, there was a huge martini craze in the 90s, and that carried over into the early 21st century, and people just loved anything with the name Martini in it, and that is no different for the Espresso Martini. So that kind of brings us to today. The Espresso Martini is typically served up. You can find bars that do both fresh pulled espresso as well as coffee liqueur. You just have to kind of shop around and find one that you like. You can make them at home. That's a great option. But that's the brief history of the Espresso Martini. Shout out to Dick Bradsell. We'll be covering him again because he is a legend. If you like espresso martinis, if you've ever had one, let me know below. Also, if you want to leave suggestions for future episodes, that would be much appreciated. Subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Give it a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.